What's up, everybody? I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah, and it's Hulk Month on YouTube. All Hulk, She Hulk included, and we're doing Sensational She Hulk number 15. Yes, the Cosmic Squash ordeal. Yes, it's getting weird. I guarantee you. And Howard the Duck is guest starring, so you know this is gonna get odd. It's gonna shake loose. It's gonna get loose. And now they're in the secret wars. It gets weird. And they're actually in the Baloneyverse right now. All these creatures have come out of nowhere. And they look hungry, ravenous. That they need to eat something. And Howard's kind of panicking because She-Hulk's no longer She-Hulk. She's Jennifer right now. Now, instead of jumping them, they end up eating the bologna around them. And Howard brings up a very good point. What happens when they finish the bologna? They're going to want fresh duck and fresh Jennifer. And already these creatures, these ravenous creatures, are sizing them both up, deciding what they're going to eat first. And since Howard has experience in weird situations, he tells her to jump. And they land on a piece of bologna and they begin going far away from these creatures. And they're trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do. And I love how Jennifer says, I owe you one. It's like, for bringing me here, you owe me like 42 toots. Anyways, they're jumping from place to place. And they end up crashing on a big piece of cheese. Yes, this is the Baloneyverse. Apparently there's cheese here too. And now they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to rescue the Doctor. And She-Hulk does apologize because she didn't think she would lose her powers. But in the middle of them having a bonding moment, these creatures come out of nowhere again. And they decide that they're going to snack and chow down on Jennifer. Now, Jennifer's human right now. So they figure she's easy pickings until Jennifer turns into a powerful version of the Gray Hulk. The Gray She-Hulk. And she is more savage and angry than ever. And she just starts wrecking these creatures. And they run away in fear. And Howard's kind of wondering what's going on, hoping that Jennifer is going to squash him. They find the professor. And as you notice, she's talking like a savage Hulk. You know, Jennifer no like this puny human. You know, the whole spiel. Now, this is where this guy, the critic, out of self-interest, mostly, decides to give them a hand. Decides that he needs them alive, and he needs them out of that land. So he uses his cosmic powers, his energy, and sends a portal that captures them and brings them back from the Baloneyverse. And as she appears in the office, Jennifer's still in gray mode, smash mode. And then something happens. A change starts to happen. She begins turning back into Jennifer. And yes, her cousin once went through this at one point too. Except he became Joe Fixit when he was gray. She becomes more savage. And now the critic's satisfied with himself, hoping that they will do their jobs now. This is another little weird part right here. This is a retirement home, and apparently this guy in the wheelchair, he senses evil. And I guess there's something tingling in his cells after all these years. And these guys are planning to bulldoze his retirement home in order for condos. But a vampire comes out of nowhere, the old man, and decides to have themselves a little dinner. So after he chows down on them, rips them apart, you know, he gets back in his wheelchair and turns back into the crippled old man and wheels away. I mean, actually, that's kind of the perfect disguise if you think about it. Jennifer shows up in her apartment, and of course, her sidekick's waiting for her, Miss Mason, and she's just real surprised to see Howard, and Howard's just not really happy to be here. This whole situation has been pretty screwed for him. He just wants to go home, go back to Beverly, and play a little sneaky ninja. Anyways, as these guys are discussing plans for the prison, you know, stuff like that, they're also discussing that certain people have certain powers, and all of a sudden there's an earthquake. But it's not an earthquake. It's a big power drill. Yes, the guy that was in the beginning of all this, he is a sorcerer, apparently. And 10 years ago, he cast that spell. It took that long. And he's flying away. He's also the guy that summoned the cosmic plunger and started all this to begin with. Now, Howard called Bev, and of course that's not going too well for him. And everyone's kind of just regrouping, and She-Hulk's explaining what's going on, and that she needs to get into this base that Bruce Banner used to have. This little gamma fortress where he'd lock himself in sometimes. Of course, this guy lands in his old apartment, and I guess through his shoe, he found a talisman. I told you, it gets weird, and he's summoning his people. And man, Tilly the Nun, the Black Hole, the Spanker, oh, leash. Alright, so he pulls out this little candy thing, and I guess that has magical powers too, and he turns into Dr. Angst. And I just love how it just says Sorcerer right on the front of his uniform. And like, it spells it all. Anyways, they're cruising to New Mexico, trying to stay in the sun. They do not want her to Hulk out in the car. That car's already been through so much. And Howard just wants to be left off and left alone. He did not want to get involved with this at all. But he's there. Anyways, they land in New Mexico, in a remote area. And they begin to go down to the vault. And Howard's like, nah, I've already seen what she turns into. I'm good. Anyway, she goes into the vault. And you think that Bruce would have some lights, accoutrements. Nope, nothing. And they seal her in, and she's there with someone. Yes, they're hiding. They got warts. And it's a secret. Yes, secret warts. It's all starting to become clear. Not really, but hopefully we'll find out soon. Because all that debris from that singularity is coming to Earth. And this was part of Dr. Angst's plan. To avenge himself and bring the universe to its knees tonight. And will She-Hulk and Howard be able to beat this guy? Will she be able to control her powers again? We'll find out, won't we? And I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.